That big, beautiful wedding with the doves and the ice sculpture and then the bayonets.
Bayonets?
Yeah, you know, where they cross them and the bride and groom walk onto them.
Yeah, I think that's swords, Gina. Only military personnel do that.
Whatever. The point is, my little girl's gonna have a big, beautiful wedding.
Listen, one thing puzzles me. If Ted and Angela were kidnapped, why is there no ransom note?
Lionel, I told you about this. That they're somewhere underground.
Underground, yeah.
You know, if I didn't know you better, I'd think you didn't believe me.
Well, I believe you, Mom. And I'm more and more convinced we're not looking at any kidnapping here.
Well, thank you.
Well, what makes you say that? Come on, Lily, what do you know that we don't?
Angela! 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 Angela!
Angie?
Angela? Okay. All right, baby, it's okay. It's okay, come on. Wake up. Wake up, come on. Okay, come on, baby. Come on, wake up now, okay? Come on. Come on, baby, come on. In.
BJ, what's wrong?
I remember what happened that night. I know how Frank was killed.
Your Honor, I need a moment to confer with my client. May we take a recess, please?
Both counsels approach the bench.
What is this about?
Your Honor, my client remembers what happened the night Frank Goodman was killed.
At the 11th hour? How convenient.
I don't think she planned when she was going to be able to piece the puzzle together. Your Honor, I need a few moments to speak to her so that I can find out what exactly she remembers.
Your Honor, I've tried to be reasonable, but this is outrageous. The court has allowed counsel to call witnesses who weren't on the schedule, accepted recess after recess, but now the court must draw the line. The evidence and testimony are over. I've already given my summation. This is just a shoddy attempt by the defense to undercut me.
Don't be paranoid, Ben. We're here in the pursuit of truth and justice. Neither will be served if I don't have a moment to speak to my client in private, Your Honor.
All right, I'll give you 5 minutes, but not 1 minute more. This court will recess for 5 minutes.
I told you you didn't do it. Now we're going to walk through that courtroom door free and clear.
Warren, I don't think it's going to be that simple.
All right, BJ, I want you to tell me everything that you remember.
Your Honor, I must protest this. There are rules that govern a fair trial.
Mr. Arnold, I do not need a lecture from you in court procedure. I am the judge, and I will determine how the rules of this court will be applied. Is that clear?
Quite. I can see I made a mistake.
I'm glad you realize that.
I married a housewife. I should have married a judge.
Do you really want to be charged with contempt? Because I'll be very happy to oblige.
Your Honor, thank you for the recess. I would like to recall B.J. Walker to the stand.
Your Honor, this gets more absurd by the minute. You can't let her do this.
Mr. Arnold, you are within one hair's breadth with contempt. I'll see both counsels in chambers now.
Angela, come on. Come on, wake up now. Come on, baby. Wake up. Yeah, that's a girl. That's a girl. Come on, wake up. Okay, thank God. You okay? Hmm?
Where are we?
Good. We're in the mine shaft, okay? We're still in the mine shaft. The earth moved a little bit, all right? Something bumped you on the head, and you were knocked unconscious.
Oh, I wish it still worked. Maybe death comes quicker like this.
Now, don't even start talking like that. Are you okay? Are you all broken up here? Or what's going on now? Tell me how you feeling.
My body.
Yeah? What, are you broken? You have how's this? You have a broken ankle?
Yes!
Yeah, you have a broken ankle.
Oh.
No, it still moves. It's okay. You ain't broken. How about anything else? You got any broken arms?
I told you my whole body aches. Ow!
Wait. Okay. Okay. Got a little something up here. All right. Does that hurt?
Yes.
Okay. How about that? Does that hurt?
A little.
See, look, you got a whole bunch of cuts and scrapes on your face here.
Oh, great. That's just what I wanted to hear.
No. It's okay. It's not bad. It's okay. Don't worry, I can take care of it. That's good. What's that,
Come on, Lily. What do you know about Ted and Angela's disappearance?
Nothing. Really, I think it's strange that we haven't gotten a ransom note, that's all.
I know psychic ability, and I'm telling you, they're underground.
Okay, maybe I can help.
How?
Well, I know the area. I could search the terrain. Maybe I could spot some things the police might have overlooked.
What good will that do when I know where they are?
Underground, yeah.
Right.
Well, I could at least give it a shot.
Look, Rafe, no offense, but Ted and Angela's only hope of being rescued is me. So, Lionel, if you would, walk around with me outside, and I'll see if I can pick up some vibes, okay?
Next, you'll be picking up FM stations.
I know you must be, worried about Ted.
I am. It's hard not knowing whether he's alive or...
Lily, don't talk like that.
Rafe, I appreciate you trying to help, I really do, but I don't think there's anything you can do. I mean, the police have already scoured the entire area. You should go home. Lisa must be wondering where you are.
Lily, I have to know something first. Why did you warn me not to trust Lisa yesterday?
This is crazy. Every time we get within 2 feet of each other, we lose control.
It's not exactly news, Ted.
Oh, I know, but I can't stop thinking about it. It's something I think about.
We have a lot more important things to worry about right now, like how are we going to get out of here?
Something I didn't tell you about, the hole that we came in, it got sealed up. Earthquake sealed it up, but we're stuck in here. We're sealed in.
Great. Well, we don't have to worry about starving to death now. We're gonna suffocate instead.
No, we're not. We don't have to worry about suffocating, okay? We got plenty of oxygen in here as long as we stop talking.
Oh, darn, the conversation's been so stimulating.
I'm so sorry about all this.
Yeah. Me too. Ted, I'm thirsty. Can I have some water?
Here you go. Oh, no.
What? What now?
The water was in the knapsack. Knapsack's under that rock.
More good news. How long does it take a person to die without water?
Now, listen, we've only been in here 24 hours, okay? You just stop thinking about that stuff. Just stop thinking about it, okay? Because we're gonna be saved.
Someone's gonna find our dried up, shriveled up bodies.
Stop thinking like that.
Give me something to hope for.
Okay. Go.
Ow.
I'll be right back.
Where are you going?
Just stay there. Ah. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. Seek, and ye shall find.
What's that?
Water.
Where'd you find water?
Perrier salesman in the next shaft over.
That's funny.
No, it's oh. Okay. I found it. I was looking for the lamp. I saw some water. It's coming through the wall. Go ahead. Drink up.
Looks a little dirty, Ted.
Are you thirsty or not?
Yeah, I'm thirsty, but who knows what kind of chemicals are in
Are you gonna drink it?
Why'd you go first?
Oh, Angela, look, you're the one who said you were thirsty. Why don't you drink it?
I'm just being polite. You have some.
Okay. All right, I'll have some. Yeah.
It's no secret I've never trusted Lisa.
I know, Lily, but you were talking about something specific.
No.
Are you sure?
Look. I overreacted because I heard Lisa talking to Rich, and knowing that she and that jerk are tight, it just automatically put my suspicion level into overdrive, you know?
I know. I don't trust Rich either. But Lisa and Sis are just friends. You know, and I have to believe her. Because a marriage without trust isn't a marriage.
No, it's not.
You know, sometimes I can't help think what might have been if Lisa didn't get pregnant.
Rafe, it doesn't do any good to talk like that or think like that. Our lives have come way too far to turn back now.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
I can tell that you're trying very hard to make things work with you, and Lisa, I admire that.
Give a guy an A for effort, right?
Right. So are you happy?
I knew we'd get a break somewhere. Look at that face, Terry. Is that a face of a murderer?
You love BJ very much, don't you?
Shows that much, does it?
As you know, photographers learn to look for what's really going on with the subject and not what they choose to show you or what they want you to see. But it doesn't take a trained eye to see the way you two feel about each other.
Well, this is all pretty new for me.
Just promise me that I can photograph the wedding.
Hey. We haven't gotten that far yet, please.
But you will. Now go to her.
See the guy in the back? It's Daryl Waters, forensics expert you asked me to track down. He's ready to testify about the tests he ran on Frank's body if Mason will allow it.
Well, good. He's gonna have to.
I am just so relieved I finally remember. I knew I didn't shoot Frank.
So did I.
Thank you. You're the only one that never lost faith in me, not even when I did. I don't blame you for thinking that I was guilty, though. Everything was pointing to me. I even had myself convinced that I had pulled the trigger.
I'm so sorry, honey.
Mom, you have nothing to apologize for. You're the ones that found Eugene. And without him, we never would have made it this far.
Well, I love you. Now I just hope Julia can convince Mason to reopen the testimony.
We're about to find out.
Well, happy's relative, right?
Not necessarily.
Of course I'm happy. Are you?
Yes. Well, at least I was until Ted disappeared.
You don't look happy.
I told you I'm upset about Ted.
I know. I know, and I want to help you. More than anything on this earth, I want to see that smile that I love so much back on your face. It's been a long time since I've seen you smile.
I'll be fine, Rafe. Any luck?
I'm sorry, I couldn't pick up any vibrations.
Well, not like the ones in here, anyway. I think we should give Ray's idea a chance.
Well, doesn't anybody listen to me? I'm the person who Ted and Angela's distress is being channeled through.
I know, Gina, but all those lines of communication seem to be down at the moment. So why don't we try it Ray's way, huh?
Fine, fine, fine. I guess it couldn't hurt.
Ready?
Let me just go out and grab my purse out of the car.
I'll go with you.
You're still in love with her, aren't you?
I beg your pardon?
I said, you're still in love with her, aren't you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's okay. Your secret is safe with me. I think you ought to know that the feeling is mutual.
Are you sure?
But you didn't hear it from me, right?
You got it. I better go, check on things outside.
Yeah.
Ms. Walker, I remind you, you are still under oath.
I understand.
BJ, you testified earlier that you don't remember what happened the night Frank Goodman was killed. Yet now you say you do.
That's right. I remember everything. I did not shoot Frank.
Will you please tell the court what you now know to be the truth regarding Frank Goodman?
I was on the mesa with Frank.
It's the only answer. It's the perfect solution. Ah, I love you, BJ. Now please tell me you love me, and then give me the gun.
No.
This is your last chance, BJ. You better shoot me. Go ahead, or else we do it my way. Come on. Come on. I promise you it won't hurt. I'll be right behind you. We'll be together forever. Like it was always meant to be. God, you look 10 years old. You look so beautiful. Beautiful. You look exactly the same the first time I kissed you. No! No. Not without her. Not without my BJ. There's gotta be another way, okay? Leave me alone. I could kill you. I could kill us both. Huh? Or I could just drive away. Together, BJ.
Please don't kill me, Frank. Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, God. Please, God.
I know what I have to do. I do. I do. So sorry, BJ. I loved you. I love you.
So it is your sworn testimony that Frank Goodman took his own life?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Mr. Arnold, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have a very convenient memory, don't you, Miss Walker?
Ted, please, please, speak to me.
Oh, it's the angels I'm seeing. I see all the angels around everywhere. It's like heaven. They said.
You're not injured.
Now I am.
Everything is a joke to you, isn't it?
No, not everything. Hello, was dead.
The last thing I need right now is a stinking, rotting corpse on my hand.
Come on, stop it. At least I had the maracas to try the water.
How is it?
It's good. Well, I mean, considering we've been eating dust for the last 24 hours, it's good. Try it.
You're not feeling sick or anything, are you?
Well, all except for this hump on my back starting to grow hair. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Just drink up, okay? It's okay.
Well, what have I got to lose?
Nothing.
Don't answer that.
Okay.
You're right. It's not half bad.
Well, and that's the good news.
Meeting?
Meaning that if you thought the situation was bleak before, that earthquake not only sealed up the hole that we came in, but it loosened up all these timbers. If we have another aftershock, we could lose the whole place. It's gonna come down on us.
Look, why are you always making trouble? These timbers held up through the quake. They're gonna continue to hold up.
No, they're not. They've weakened up.
No, they haven't.
Yes, they have. Look.
Ted!
See?
So, Ms. Walker, you maintain that Frank Goodman committed suicide in the desert that night.
Yes.
Why do you suppose you just happen to remember now?
Because something made me remember. It was the way that Frank used to stand with his hands tucked up under his arms. Once I recalled that, everything else fell into place.
Not a moment too soon.
Objection.
Sustained. You know better than to editorialize, Mr. Arnold.
You've remembered a great deal as this trial has progressed.
Yes, I have.
Are you sure you remember everything about that night? Or is this version of events subject to revision also?
No.
You're positive that you won't remember that the cast of City Slickers really killed Frank Goodman, or that the ghost of Miss Kitty did it to get some post-mortem press?
Objection.
Sustained. You're on thin ice, Counselor.
I'm telling the truth. I finally remembered what happened.
As a forensics expert, it is my professional opinion that the defendant's recollection of events is consistent with the evidence we have regarding the entry point and trajectory of the bullet that killed Frank Goodman.
Thank you, Mr. Waters. Your witness.
Mr. Waters, you said that the defendant's version of Frank Goodman's death is consistent with the forensics evidence that you have?
That's right.
Might there also be other scenarios which would account for the fatal bullet's entry point and trajectory?
Yes, but...
In other words, Frank Goodman could have been held at gunpoint by the defendant, with his arms raised up over his head, and he could have turned to run, and then she could have shot him.
Objection. For the millionth time, counsel is asking for a conclusion of the witness.
Your Honor, Mr. Waters is a forensics expert.
Irrelevant to the question asked.
Sustained.
Your Honor, the prosecution rests, assuming that defense's little bag of tricks is finally empty.
The jury will disregard Mr. Arnold's last remark. Mr. Arnold, because I allowed the defense to reopen its case, I'm going to allow you to make another final argument. Do you need time to prepare for it?
No, Your Honor. The defense keeps changing its mind, but the prosecution still believes that B.J. Walker murdered Frank Goodman and should pay the price.
Over here!
Where?
Over here! There's a hole.
A hole? Well, I thought a hole had to be empty. It looks more like a depression.
Well, it's filled now, but it was a hole not too long ago. Look at the undergrowth. You see how
Maybe
it's been
it filled
uprooted?
in during the earthquake.
I think you're right.
Anything?
Well, I'm getting some vibrations, but they're very faint.
If Ted and Angela did fall in this hole, then that means they're buried alive.
Alive being the key word.
I have an idea.
Rafe, where are you going?
Back to the shack.
Yeah, come on, let's get some shovels.
It's very confusing, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? We've heard so many versions of the same event. We've had witnesses pop up like mushrooms after a damp spell. We've had testimony given as truth and then recanted time after time. Has this been a thorough examination of the facts, or just a series of clever diversionary tactics perpetrated by the defense to so muddle things that the only thing you can possibly be left with is reasonable doubt? The one thing they need to win acquittal for B.J. Walker. Well, of one thing there can be no doubt. B.J. Walker is a troubled woman. A woman who ran away from home as a girl, pretended to be a boy for a while, and ended up under the care of a psychiatrist. B.J. Walker is a woman who is clearly attracted to older men. First Frank Goodman, and then having killed him, Warren Lockridge, who, though he's still alive, has already been stabbed once by the defendant. If B.J. Walker attacked her boyfriend during a kiss, is it so hard to imagine her shooting Frank Goodman for molesting her since childhood? And although all we've heard is the biased hearsay of witnesses for the defense, I am willing to give B.J. Walker the benefit of the doubt on one point: that Frank Goodman molested her, as he did Sally Baldwin. But does that give her the right to kill him? First she said she didn't. Then she said it was possible that she did. And now she would like us to believe that Frank Goodman committed suicide by shooting himself in the armpit. Have you ever heard of suicide being committed this way? Does it make sense that a trained policeman would commit suicide by shooting himself in the armpit? A forensics expert testifying for the defense has said that BJ's version of Frank Goodman's death is possible. Well, I say it is highly improbable. And as for her memory suddenly returning, I find it interesting that her memory suddenly and conveniently returned every time new sworn testimony backed her further and further into a corner. Ladies and gentlemen, do not fall victim to the Byzantine manipulations of the defense, because the central question of this trial has always remained the same. Did B.J. Walker shoot and kill Frank Goodman? And despite the seemingly endless, contradictory defense and testimony, the evidence proves that B.J. Walker did indeed shoot and kill Frank Goodman in cold blood. I therefore urge you, in the interest of justice, to return a verdict of guilty.
I actually agree with Mr. Arnold. I think that this trial has been confusing and somewhat contradictory. But despite that, Mr. Arnold has just admitted that he believes that B.J. was sexually molested as a child by Frank Goodman. It was this one sickening set of events that set this chain of events that swept B.J., her family, her friends, into this nightmare that brings us all into this courtroom. Let's look at this a minute. Frank tried to rekindle this abusive relationship with B.J. She refused. He then retaliated by trying to divide up her family. That didn't work. Well, now his obsession becomes desperate. And he kidnaps B.J.'s mother, Jody Walker, and her friend Cruz Castillo in an attempt to blackmail B.J. into intimacy. This plan failed as well. So you see, there's only one thing left for Frank to do. And alone in the desert with his victim, he perpetrates perhaps the worst abuse of all by forcing her to watch him die. Now, naturally, this incident is so horrifying and so traumatic that it leaves B.J. nothing else to do but block it from her mind in order to simply survive. Now, the prosecution is trying to make it look like B.J. is a mental basket case, that she distorts and she reinvents the truth in order to suit her own purposes. But you have heard testimony from her own psychiatrist that says this is simply not the case. Not only that, but the prosecution has offered no expert witness to say otherwise. Now, it is a fact that B.J. was suffering from hysterical amnesia. This was her mind's way of protecting her from the horror of watching a man die. B.J. has been sitting in this courtroom. She has heard testimony against herself, and something unlocked in her mind that made her remember that it was Frank Goodman who shot himself. Now, I really have to point this out, but the prosecution, with all of his huffing and puffing, has done nothing to prove otherwise. Now, I admit, the most damaging testimony to my case came out of BJ's own mouth, when she remembered that she was holding the gun, and she assumed that she killed Frank Goodman. But did she keep this to herself? No, she blurted it out into the entire courtroom. Is this the behavior of someone hell-bent on covering up a criminal act? No, it is not, ladies and gentlemen. B.J. Walker is not a murderer. She's a victim. And not just a victim of Frank Goodman, but a victim of a legal system subverted by the zeal to win a case at the cost of individual justice. Mr. Arnold has railed at the unorthodox nature of this case. But I ask you, is the truth always that cut and dry? No. Is the truth always that easy? No, you know that. You know that from your own experiences. Please don't let this trial be yet another, or perhaps the final blow that destroys this young girl's life. And for heaven's sakes, don't let Frank Goodman abuse her from his grave. You must do the right thing. You must do the just thing. You must set B.J. Walker free to live the happy, normal life that Frank Goodman denied her the minute his hand touched her body and stole her soul. Thank you.
Dad, look! It's an opening.
Oh, my God.
Maybe it leads out of the mine.
All right, be careful. Be careful over there.
It's barely big enough to crawl through, though. You've got to make it bigger.
Okay. Well, I forgot my jackhammer back at the old shack. I'll see what I can do. All right, get out of here. Okay. All right, give me a hand, okay?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to try to sneak on through here.
And leave me here all alone?
Do you want to do it?
No. No, I'll be all right as long as I've got the lantern.
Angela, when I get to the other side, I'm going to have the lantern with me.
Ted!
Angela, now you listen to me. I'm going to go over there. I'll make sure everything's okay, and then I'll pull you through.
I don't have much choice, do I?
No, you don't. That's a good attitude you got there, okay? Help me out.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right, okay.
Are you sure? Won't it be okay if I just hold it up to the opening?
No, it won't be okay if you just hold it up to the opening. Give it to me.
Can you see anything? Ted? What's going on? Ted, are you all right?
Having reviewed the charges against the defendant and the laws pertaining to them, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is now up to you to render a verdict based solely on the evidence that has been displayed during this trial. I urge you to weigh your decision carefully and honestly, so that in the end, justice and justice alone will be served. The bailiff will now sequester the jury. This court is in recess until a verdict is reached.
Thank you, Julia. You did a wonderful job.
Yeah, it was very convincing.
Julia, what can I say? You were dynamite. We owe you.
Well, let's hope the jury knows the truth when they hear it.
I hope so, too.
BJ, After what I heard here this afternoon, I'm convinced there isn't one combination of 12 people anywhere in this world who could possibly find you guilty.
I hope you're right.
I know I am. Have a happy life, BJ. You deserve it.
Thank you.
You see? More people rooting for you than you know.
I know. I just wish I knew what was going through the jury's minds right now.
BJ, all that we can do is hope justice will be served. And that jury's in there deciding. We can only hope that they're going to find out what we've known all along. That you're innocent.
This week on Days of Our Lives, will Marlena escape from the condemned building before it's too late, or will Stella have her final revenge? This week.